we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. I am Aaron Clements here with co-host Jamie Bridges.
Good morning.
And David Clark.
Good morning.
Oh, we're going to have a great time. We're going to drink some coffee. We're going to talk about some cars, have a good time. It looks like David has the Starbucks. Oh, Jamie's got just regular coffee and a Canada Dry.
She's coming in strong with the ginger ale.
I've got my expensive cup of Circle K.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are ready to go and talk about cars. You can listen to the show. Actually, we play on about 110 stations around the country, having a good time, and we hope people enjoy it because I know we do.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good thing. You can also watch the show. You can watch it at ccautoshow.com, and that's you can do some other things there. You can see different car shows, which we're in the process now of updating those because a lot of really neat car shows are coming up.
Springtime.
And this is springtime. Yes. Absolutely. I know there's some at C&C Automotive stores. We got, March 21st, I think, one's coming up, and just a whole list of them. Now, what's up there is not what's going to be there in a few weeks because we're steadily adding and finding out where the car shows are and putting them in there. So if you get a chance, you can go to the event side of that. You can also post a car show there. Just go to the little chat bubble at the bottom right and do that. You can send us a question. You can call. That's it. You can call. give us a call.
Call me
that's
quick.
800-224-9090. And that means a lot to us when you call. We enjoy answering your questions. We always have a good time. You can text a question, though. If you really don't want to call, you can do that. And, Jamie, you were here. And remember, didn't we have a tech tip quiz left over from last week? Yeah, that thing's been in the refrigerator all week, and we were trying to decide whether you should pull it out or not.
No, let's give them another whack at it.
You ever did that, had something in the refrigerator and said, I don't know if I should eat that or not?
Yeah. It depends on.
It's been 3 days or it's been 4 days.
You got to test it at that point. It's like, do I want to or do I not?
Refrigerator roulette.
Should I or shouldn't I?
That's right. Let's see what can happen to me if I eat this.
Well, let's go ahead and pull the tech tip quiz out. We'll use it. All right, Jason was a service advisor at a dealership in downtown Atlanta. He loved his job where he worked, but he did not like living in the city. Didn't like the traffic and all that stuff. He didn't like to drive and all that. Now, since he was in the 70s, also he was having trouble driving at night. So he knew that he would either have to quit work or move to the city and take Robotaxis all the time. And he really wasn't crazy about doing that. So he come up with a solution, and he solved the problem, and now he's fine. So what did he do? If someone knows the answer to that, they can give us a call, 800-224-9090. Give us a call. All right, let's move to the next subject.
Yep.
And this is a little bit into the trucking world there, Jamie.
All right.
Yeah, it is. I had a person ask me a question. I was on a Zoom call yesterday, and you know when timing just adds up really good? It did, because on that Zoom call, it was from it was one lobbyist in Washington, D.C. that was on the call with us, and there were some others in different parts of the country. And we were talking about, what else? Cars and the car industry. And we started talking about how the current world events will be affecting fuel prices. And no doubt, fuel prices will be going up. And we don't get all political on this. We just talk about the facts right now. The facts are fuel's going to go up. But the question was, why does diesel fuel react so much quicker to world events than gasoline? And what crazy thing, I just researched it because I had that same question. And as I was getting gas that morning, I was pumping diesel. And the diesel had gone up something like 55, 60 cents a gallon, and regular gasoline was only up maybe 15, 20 cents. And I wondered why. So I come back, I started doing the research and of course, ChatGPT, all the other stuff that go along with it. So I was able to answer that question on the phone really fast, and they were amazed. It really looked good for that. But what it amounts to is diesel fuel reacts so much faster to world events because it's tied in international events like trucking and ships that haul things across the ocean. It's in manufacturing and just all of these other things. And these are must-have things. And the demand is not going to go down when that happens. So their demand will stay there. So they're going to buy it. And so when it goes up, they're still going to buy it. But gasoline, on the other hand, that's tied more to personal driving. So if the price of that goes up, then demand will go down, and in the long run, they'll lose money.
Yeah.
So that's what the research showed, and I was able to say that, and I don't mind telling you, I looked good when I did.
They're bringing Aaron to Washington.
Yeah, that was good. It was perfect timing. I mean, I had just finished doing the research too, right before the call, so it was really good. And but that is the reason. So if you're wondering why the diesel fuel reacts so much faster, and in some cases, many times I've wondered why diesel fuel is more than gasoline. I mean, because it's not as refined as gasoline.
Yeah, well, it didn't used to be, but it is now. But that as much as everything has gone up before this, it's going to go up even more. Because once, diesel goes up, that means the price of moving freight goes up. That means everything else goes up.
It affects everything else. It won't just affect the diesel fuel, because when that trucker has to pay $1,000 more to fill up a truck, or you would know that more than I would how much, but I'm throwing out numbers.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the
it
tank.
depends on he would have to have a pretty large tank to pay that much more. But at the same time, regardless of that, they're paying more. And that has to be paid by somebody. And, of course, the truckers, unfortunately, they probably have to absorb a lot of it. Yeah. But at the same time, they have to pass a lot of it along.
So do you see this starting to sway the people towards an EV again?
No.
Do we see that happen? If gas continues to rise and, do consumers then turn back and say, again, now I'm being held hostage based on, current world events, and my cost isn't coming down. Do I look to am I charging my car up? Because at that point, is my power bill going up as much because of that world event, and I can just charge my car? Or do I sustain getting impacted by this and the gas prices going up?
I mean, we already paid Georgia Power an arm and a leg thanks to Plant Vogel, but At the all said and done, with the cost of everything else going up, the cost of living is gonna keep going up. It's gonna spike up with all of this. I don't think that people are gonna have the extra money to swap over to EV.
Well, I don't think there's any way people can afford it right now.
No.
Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of bad car deals out there as it is.
Some people lost a lot of money buying EV cars because of the depreciation. Some paid 110, 124 vehicle, and now it's worth 50 and 60 on trade-in.
Well, I think you got that. I think you got cars that are now people are realizing that ugly baby they had when they bought those cars during COVID, and they just had to have a car.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw people paying sticker price and, $5,000 and $10,000 above sticker price, and they were financing those cars. And, the whole time that was going on, I was sitting back saying, like, this is going to be a disaster. At some point, there's no way when the market shifts and goes back to correct itself, are these people going to be in good shape? And I think we're starting to see that inside of the economy as well. And I don't know the people that can get out of their cars. The more people I talk to on total losses now when I'm trying to help them settle claims is, I'm so upside down in my car, I need help. And I'm like, well, I can't. There's only so much I can do. The car's only worth what it is. So,
well, I mean, there comes to a point where you can't keep up with the Joneses and you have to live within your means. So that's, having to go out and signing a 20-year car note is probably not the right. If you have to finance it out that far, then you're probably better off.
Yeah.
Aaron, you said you were going to bring us back. Tell us about, what does Ford think about EVs? Because me and Jamie were just having a debate on what people would do with rising gas prices. Will they go back EV or not?
Well, according to Ford, actually, Ford is the latest to admit that they're going to take a bad butt whipping on EVs. After $1 billion losses on first-generation electric vehicles, Ford canceled the development of the next-generation electric pickup and several other EV projects. They are gone. CEO Farley said they put their eggs in the wrong basket. Yes, they did. So, yeah, I can't see the manufacturers going back to that. Now, I will tell you one other thing that kind of is we have to tell both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know how true any of this is, but our contributor, Jim Pate, he sent some information to where China is supposed to have a vehicle that can be charged in 5 minutes. And BYD, and I'm not sure of all the details on that. I had that mentioned a little bit later, but I thought it wouldn't be right to mention this about Ford taking a beating without mentioning what is going on in the EV world according to what China is saying. Now, we'll do the research on that. Jamie will help me do the research. But I feel like that the EV vehicles as it's being done in America is not going to work, and the infrastructure is not there, the demand is not there, and I don't know if it will ever be there anytime soon. I'll say anytime soon. Eventually, yes.
So I think it'll be an interesting time because I think people were anti-EV because it was being shoved down their throat.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
good point.
I think that's what caused it to be anti-EV. If you get to a point of where gas is so ridiculous and it's consumer choice and the customer can go out and decide if I want to buy an EV and it makes the most sense for me, that may be the swinging pendulum on it, that the customer then starts to say, hey, I want to go this direction because I'm tired of the other. And so that may, to me, may be the game changer. So I'm, obviously, they've jumped in here and said, hey, I put my eggs in the wrong basket. I never doubt the American consumer, right? Because if you've got freedom to choice, they're going to choose what's best for them. And if EV is best for them at the time, that's the way they're going to go.
And I don't think it's ever going to be one or the other.
No.
I think we'd be very foolish to say it's one or the other. I think it should be, you should have diesel, you should have gasoline, you should have the EVs, and let the people, and even it's work with hydrogen some of the other alternative fuels that you can use, and let the consumer decide what works, and don't try to subsidize it or prop one up over the other. But again, I've said this before, but I will say that I feel like in diesels and in gasoline engines, they're just getting started. I mean, you look at what they have now. I mean, a 2-foot by 2-foot piece of artwork that has a couple of hundred horsepower or more, many times even more, that gets good gas mileage. And regardless of what they say, if everything's right, they're very low emissions.
Right.
So, I think that we got room to expand in all of those directions, and we would be very foolish not to.
So do you feel like the engines today and the car today, obviously we talk about them having to be maintenance more, right? Like we have to change oil every 5,000 miles versus before, it was kind of common 8 to 10,000 miles, right? Those intervals are shrinking. So is the fact that it's gotten better, but the quality of it is deteriorating, and the consumer's getting a not as good a product, even though it's better, but now I got to service it more. Or if I don't service it more, like the Hyundai engines, right? Like if you don't do it every 5,000 miles, you've seen plenty of them that have just gone to crap.
I think in an effort to try to meet the fuel standards that some of these are saying, some of the regulations are saying they have to meet. Now, some of that has changed now recently. But in order to meet those standards, they're having to continuously put things on the drawing board without being tested, like these low tension rings. I mean, they put low tension rings in there to lower the friction in the engine, which would increase gas mileage. So you're going to use less gas, but now you're going to use 2 quarts of oil, a quart of oil every month. Right. I mean, I would rather have the gasoline emissions instead of the oil emissions, and oil costs more than the gas. So no, I think that there's a tipping point to where they have to move a little slower on what they're trying to do. 10-speed transmissions, I believe many of those were put out.
Jamie sighs.
Yeah, and then you have the CVTs, which CVTs are starting to get a lot better. But all of these things require maintenance to keep them going no matter what you do.
I mean, they've been fighting those CVT transmissions for years and years, and nobody has gotten them things right yet. Just give up on them. But as far as Ford goes and the eggs in the wrong basket, who is doing their research, like their marketing research, their consumer research? Because they were, I think, regular Joe Schmo American is
Joe Schmo. We got another term.
is a little leery of the government. So I don't understand how these companies are hanging tens, hundreds of millions of dollars on what the government says.
Because where's the money coming from?
It was subsidies.
The money's coming from the lobbyists that are paying these big corporations that are influencing decisions.
So have they
that are pressuring the Americans?
Have they broken even, or are they in the hole? I mean, at what point do you use your consumer data over what the government promises you?
I think companies need to look at what's better for the Americans.
Exactly.
Right? What's better for the consumer, and put your eggs in that basket. Let the consumers tell you what they want, and let them spend their dollars. It's their money.
And that'll be on an individual basis. For instance, you might have one consumer that lives downtown, works downtown. The EV car might work out great for them. But you have another one that like I live 45 minutes away, and it would take me. I'd have to. I would forget to put my car on the charger.
until he gets his flying mobile to bring him in here with the Jetson.
That will happen. It will happen. We had a question last week. A person talked about LED lights that they had on their vehicle, and they had the question was, should I put one of the LED kits to where they have the wiring and all that? And we discussed it during the break also, to where that probably wouldn't be a great idea unless you really, really needed something different on the car, much brighter than you had before. I wouldn't do it because you're changing a lot of stuff. And David brought up a good point when we were talking a little earlier about certain LED lights. Now I'm all for things like the Peak Power Vision lights, and there's several other different manufacturers make those, but I like the Peak. But a lot of them are good, but David mentioned that some of those could have some effect on the way that the ADAS system performs.
Yeah, I think you gotta, you obviously gotta know your car. You gotta know what's set up on it. Most drivers don't know that. They don't know the effects of it, but some of these systems now are reading off the looms of the headlight. So that's where some of the body shops are struggling right now. And as they're going through repairs, and you've got insurance carriers that are pushing aftermarket headlights, and the aftermarket headlight doesn't put out the same loom that you would get from an OE light. And then that's affecting the cameras and the radars on these vehicles. So before 10 years ago, changing out headlights and doing these converter kits was not a big deal. But on today's new cars, this is a very serious thing, because all of those systems that are helping you drive and helping you assist the car are reading off of all these different systems in the car.
Everything's tied together.
You can't just go modify anymore.
No.
You need to really do your research before you start modifying the car to make sure of what you could be affecting. So.
And that includes lift kits, all sorts of other things that you can add onto a vehicle. Do the research. And I'm sure there's a lot of cases there where you can go to different sites and different clubs and Miata clubs or Mustang clubs or all of these different clubs where people can give you some feedback on some of that. But just the main thing we're stressing is to be careful and do your research before you do certain things to a car, because it might have a side effect that you hadn't really thought about.
Well, you don't even know what that light's pulling off the voltage of the car, and you start to pull down other voltage, and what does it have? How does that correspond with the rest of the car? I mean, there's a lot of different implications there. So,
if you're going from a halogen or an incandescent lamp, which pulls more, to an LED that doesn't pull as much, at best, worst case scenario, you're just going to get a flicker. But otherwise, like you said, everything else is gonna start tripping out and doing weird
And
stuff.
that is one good reason why, if you're going to do something like that, I would get it from a good name brand reputable company like Peak Power Vision. They do the research, and they sell huge numbers to where they know if it's going to have some type of effect, and you'll have some feedback on that. Whereas you buy just something offline, which we'll discuss that a little later in the show, having to do with counterfeit parts. But you just buy something offline, and you don't know that company. You don't know if they've done all the research.
Right.
Ready to go to the calls?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go to the calls. Let's go over to Steve in Grovetown. Steve, welcome to the C&C Auto Show.
Hey there. I wanted to take a stab at the tech tip, but I didn't hear the whole thing. I just heard the last part of it about not driving at night and what he did to solve it.
Yeah, his name was Jason, and he was a service advisor in a car dealership in downtown Atlanta. He loved his job, but he didn't like living in the city. He lived way out in the country, and he wanted to stay out in the country, but he just getting to the point to where he couldn't drive in the city as much. So he was either going to have to move to the city, or he was going to have to quit his job. And but he come up with a solution that solved everything. So before you give us an answer on that, I have to put you on stage, and my hand is hovering between the button and the cheering crowd. So all eyes are on you. What is the answer to today's Tech Tip quiz?
I'm going to take a stab and say he had cataract surgery.
Oh, cataract surgery. Wow. That's a very good try. I mean, because it would have helped the driving at night, but he just didn't like driving in traffic. But let's see it's not up to me. It's up to the judges. So let's see what they say. Oh, wow. No, that was a good try, though.
That's
and we do
okay.
appreciate it. Hey, thank you.
That's okay. I got another quick thing here.
Absolutely. We're ready for you.
I got a 21 CRV, and for some reason in the last few months, the thing stopped working where you stop at a red light and the car automatically shuts off.
Mm-hmm. Start, stop.
And it's not a bad thing. I kind of like that because it was very annoying that I had to always restart the car.
Mm-hmm.
But is that something I should be concerned about?
So you're saying that it don't cut off anymore?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Correct.
It's not working.
Oh, it's not working at all. Okay, so you pull up to the stop sign now and the engine just stays running? You know, a lot of people pay a lot of money to try to make that happen, and you got it free. So, no, it's up to you. You could do some. It may have a code stored that would prevent that from cutting off. I would go ahead and have at least your electrical system checked, like have your battery checked, and have your look at the cables, make sure there's no corrosion, check for trouble code stored inside the computer. If all that's good, I'd leave it up to you. If you like the system, you might pursue having some tests run to find out what's causing it. If you didn't like the system, I would just say hallelujah.
Okay. Well, I'll just leave it alone, and I will have it checked at my next service call.
Yeah, do check the electrical system. And great question, and we appreciate it very much.
All right, take it easy.
You do the same. Okay, let's try to jump on into this next caller real quick. Let's see what we got here. We welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help you with?
Well, I'm going to take another stab at the Tech Tip quiz.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Yeah, Jason was a service advisor at a dealership in Atlanta. He loved his job where he worked, but he didn't like driving in traffic, and he was getting to the point he couldn't really drive at night. And so he was either going to have to quit work or move to the city. But he found a problem. He found a solution to his problem. And what's the answer?
I still think he went remote with a cloud-based shop management system, did digital inspections, so he didn't have to drive in. He could do it from his computer at home.
Oh, he did a work from home. I don't know if a service advisor
Well-
could work from home. That would be difficult.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe if you had a Zoom call to where when people walked in, they walked up to the Zoom screen and said, "This is what's wrong with my car." But again, you already know it's not up to me. I don't make all the decisions around here. David, you decide. Oh, David, look what you did to him. No, that was a good try, though.
I did want to give a shout out back to that listener with the CRV that called us, and he was talking about his auto stop start not working. So I did a little bit of research while we were at break, just trying to figure out, like, hey, what are some symptoms of things that are going wrong? And the battery, when he said it was a 2021, it got me thinking, like, hey, maybe it's the battery voltage in the car. And so the number one common thing is the battery being the problem, because if the system's not getting a signal of a constant 12 volts, it will not work.
And that makes sense, because you wouldn't want to pull up to a light with heavy traffic all around and the car cut off normally and then not start back. So that makes sense that it would disable that system. So what you're saying is for him not to wait until his next service, head on in and get that baby checked.
Yeah, go get that battery checked and, look at a Clarios battery. We talk about it every week.
AGM battery made by Clarios, that is the way to go. Great batteries.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's at, almost this year will be 5 years for him on that battery. So he's probably got the best of that, baby. But that's the other beauty of all these systems on the car. Mm-hmm. You think about it. Now he's getting a notification from the car that, hey, I probably need to go get my battery checked without the battery light coming on and being stuck somewhere with my battery not working because the systems aren't working.
Yeah.
They're not getting the right voltage.
Like on a lot of vehicles, if anything goes wrong with most things, and it sets any code at all, boom, your remote start won't work anymore. Yeah. So everybody comes into my remote stop or my remote start stop working.
Yeah.
Say that 3 times. and when they say that, you check for trouble codes, you find out what's wrong. It may have a sensor that's bad somewhere or needs something, and you fix it so that they can get they didn't care about that part. They just want their remote start to work again. And so hey, we got a tech tip quiz.
A caller?
Somebody, we got a caller.
Taking a whack at the tech tip quiz.
And I think it does say something about the tech tip quiz on there, don't it? If I'm not mistaken.
This poor tech tip quiz.
Ken,
we're gonna have to do something with this. Let's hope that Ken here gives us an answer to this one. Ken, welcome to the C&C Auto Show.
Right, I got a good plausible answer to your tech tip quiz, and also I got a question after that.
Oh, fantastic! Well, we're gonna move pretty quick then. We're gonna put you on stage first. Jason was a service advisor in a dealership in downtown Atlanta. He loved his job, but he did not like driving in traffic. He loved living way out in the country, but he decided he was either going to have to move to the city so he could keep working or quit his job. But he came up with an answer. Ken, everyone is looking at you to answer this.
Is it possible he bought himself an autonomous car, self-driving car?
Wow, could that? Let's see what the judges say. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually, what he did, and this tech tip quiz might be just a few years in the future, but he solved the problem by purchasing a level 4 autonomous car at the dealership. Huh. And the level 4, it will drive him to work with just a little bit of oversight here and there. And he chose it over the level 5 vehicle because the level 5 does not come with a steering wheel or brake pedal or any of that, so you really don't get to enjoy driving anymore like you like to. Mm-mm. You just have to kick back.
I'm not trusting that thing.
Jamie said,
Well, I enjoy driving. I mean, you can't, unless you're able to sit back and say, hey, I want you to punch it.
I think about Total Recall when he just brings that up. Just gets in the car and it takes off driving.
No.
But this is not that much in the future. As a matter of fact, it's being done. I mean, and the reason I wanted to bring this tech tip quiz up is I really feel like this technology will make a difference on on the demographics of America. I mean, you're going to have people that would have had to live in the city that now will decide to be able to live further out in the country, but just let their car drive and just relax and drive them into work when they want to do that.
You know what comes right after that? A new breed of hackers that can kidnap you in your own car, and you can't do anything about it.
All that's happening now. We'll
Jamie,
mention that in a little bit
stop
too.
reading these books.
But Ken, you are
Too
the
much
winner
sci-fi.
of the day's Tech Tip Quiz, and you will win all kind of things above. Not to mention the title. I mean that by itself is huge. Yeah. So congratulations, and do not sell any of the items that you get. They don't like to see them on PayPal or eBay or any of that type stuff when you receive the
Auctioning off.
auction them
trophy.
off on all that. And we're going to put you over to the production room.
He had another question.
Oh, you had another question, Ken. That's right. We're ready.
Yeah, I changed the battery in the car recently, and I've got one of these battery testers that tells you the cold cranking amps of the battery.
Mm-hmm.
And the new battery measured 300. I mean, on the battery it says 450 cold cranking amps, but on my tester it measured all the way up to 900 cold cranking amps. Why would it be so high on a new battery?
I don't have a good answer for that because
that's obscenely over what it was rated for.
Yeah, a lot of those battery testers, they're not. You can't say that all of them are 100% accurate. But if you got you a new battery and it shows 900 cold cranking amps, that's above anything I've seen.
You know,
a car.
I would take that somewhere like Advanced Auto Parts, that they have a battery tester, and I would take your tester and I would test it with your tester, have them check it with theirs. Maybe the calibration is off on your tester.
That's what I think.
That's possible. But one thing I can tell you is that the old battery was bad. It measured bad.
Yes. And going ahead and putting the battery in there.
Yeah.
And that gives me a chance to mention something that a lot of this time of year, a lot of people are going to be doing. They're going to be bringing out their toys, their boats, their side-by-sides, their motorcycles, and all that. Remember that if you plan to park it and you're not going to be driving it for a few weeks, even a classic car, I recommend this Optima battery. It's the D400, I believe. Yeah, the D400. That's the one I have that I hooked to the Jurassic Park vehicle. But those will maintain a charge on it. It's not like hooking a battery charger to it. It's like hooking a cell phone charger type system up to it. It only gives the battery what it needs, and it'll make the battery last a lot longer. And that'll make it to where when you walk out to your vehicle and you want to ride, you get to ride. You don't have to sit there and work with it an hour first.
Right. Well, the old battery did pretty good because I got about 7 years out of it, so I can't.
Wow.
Stretch that one.
Yeah, you squeezed that battery didn't owe you anything at all. All right. Well, we sure do appreciate the call.
All right, I can still hand me over to your producer.
We're going to do it. All right. And we did get an answer to our Tech Tip quiz. Isn't that awesome?
That one was rough. I was wondering if Jason was sleeping on a cot in the break room or something.
Well,
yeah, let's try this real quick one. We got 1 minute.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go to the next caller, and we welcome you to the C&C Auto Show.
Yeah, I got a question. I got a 2021 GMC Sierra, and between oil changes, it uses 2 quarts of oil. Check the oil. There's no oil leaks. There's no oil coming out of the tailpipe. It does not smoke. There's no indication of oil leaks anywhere. Have you heard of that kind of problem before?
Yes, I would. You may have some carbon buildup on the ignition, on the cylinder rings or the piston rings, and if that's the case, that's a little bit of a difficult problem to solve. You can try induction services, and there's different things to do. But also, the number one thing that I would recommend checking first, and it may have caused the carbon buildup, is this: if the PCV system gets restricted. And the PCV system is positive crankcase ventilation, and it's supposed to let air circulate through the engine to pull all the combustion gases out of there. If you don't get them out, they build up carbon. So I would have the PCV system checked. It'd probably take longer to tell you all the things to check on there, but you can either call back next hour or look it up online and see what's involved in the PCV system on that vehicle.
Okay, can I carry it into Thompson's shop? Y'all do all my work on it.
Absolutely. We would love to. All right.
I talked to Bobby about it.
Yep.
He was just kind of like me. He didn't know exactly what it was.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a great discussion last hour. We had an answer to our technical quiz too.
Finally.
Yeah, we had to get that one off the
Finally.
table, but we got another one.
All right. Hopefully
yeah.
it's not as rough as the
Not as cheesy.
prior
I don't
one.
think so. Not as cheesy. That's a good word. All right. You can give us a call and ask a question, 800-224-9090. You can also text us a question at the same number. And we are going to lay a tech tip quiz out on the table. And if you have the answer to that, you can use the same number to call in and answer it. Okay. The question is, well, this is not really a question. This is a fact.
Okay.
Hyundai, they have a new program. They're hiring the newly added workers will have longer hours without pay. They're going to be working more hours without pay. How did they get around the labor laws? They're not even paying them for a break. Not even letting them take a break. If you know the answer, give us a call, 800-224-9090, and we are here for you. One of the things that we do at the C&C Auto Show, we promote helping younger people to move into the profession of their dreams, and
Yes.
many times that's cars.
Hopefully.
And so we have, as a matter of fact, the person running our board, and there's Trip Clark. How old is Trip?
Trip's 9.
9 years old, and he's got his friend with him. And we do some other things. David, you attended a Skills USA deal recently.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was in Atlanta for a couple of days, and Skills USA there in Georgia. There were probably 30 plus kids, whether they were high school kids or whether they were in tech school, that were in that facility competing against each other. Whether it was repairing bumpers, whether it was color tinting, whether it was actually painting and spot refinishing, whether it was welding. They had plastic repair. It was just outstanding to see. And then what I got, probably one of the coolest things that I got to do was the interview process.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit down and they come in and they've got to have their resume, and then you get to ask them a bunch of questions, and to see these kids, and that's what they are. I mean, they're 16, 17 years old, but to hear the passion in them for wanting to do this. And I know our industry is plagued with people that say we don't have enough technicians, right? And how do we get this next generation excited about it? And I think that skills competition allows some of that excitement.
Without question.
So I think if listeners are out there, I mean, these skills competitions happen all across the country, and then they have one mega competition. If you make it through states, that you get to go and represent your state in this competition against everybody else. Look into that. Look for that next young generation, because I mean, these kids, they love fixing cars.
And they have things like that in the mechanical side, because Jamie has judged some in this area, some of the high schoolers that they have.
It is awesome. That is one of my favorite things that I get to do during the year.
Yeah.
And just they're presented with this problem, and then they go through and fix it, but how excited they get, when they finally figure it out. And that is the best thing, is the excitement of them fixing a problem. It's great.
Unique person that I interviewed in this whole thing was a young lady, and the girls were bringing the competition this year. So it was so interesting. But this young lady, she was a beta club person, and she was a head cheerleader.
Was she
But
really?
she was in there doing body work. And like when it came to tinting the color and the masking and the painting, she was phenomenal.
Awesome.
And so that was just one person that kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't think of a head cheerleader coming in here into the body shop, but she suited up and she was game on, and her attitude was just there, and it was cool to see.
I remember Jamie did that, but I think Jamie had a little bit of a rougher time doing the judging on the car shows. It was brutal hot.
Yeah, I would
last
much rather
year.
deal with the teenagers than the car shows in the summertime heat.
It was brutal hot that day, and you must
was.
have had to look at 100 cars.
It was probably more than that. It felt like more than that.
So I think if you're out there, again, just look up Skills USA. They don't only do automotive. I think it's, they do HVAC. They
A
do
little bit of everything,
tons of
yeah.
everything in trade. So it's just a great competition. Support your local communities with that and your local schools to help promote those trade jobs.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go to the calls.
All right.
And we welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
Hello, this is Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, Chris.
I'd like to try the tech tip quiz. I think I have the answer.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Yeah, let me put you on stage. And question was, Hyundai has a new program. They're adding workers, and they will have to work longer hours without pay. Don't let them take a break. How do they get around the labor laws? And what is the answer to today's tech tip quiz?
I'm going to go with AI with robotics.
What? It's
robotics?
Whoa! Let's see what they say.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right.
You are absolutely right. Actually, Hyundai and BMW, they're just the latest to embrace the humanoid robots. And they do all the heavy lifting. They never take a break, and they're not worried about a paycheck at all. Well, I don't know. They might feed them bites.
Womp womp.
Womp, womp,
Womp,
womp.
womp. All right. Okay. And Christopher, you are a Tech Tip Quiz winner, and we want to say congratulations to you. Yeah, it's a pretty huge deal. Yeah, you just use your new powers wisely. And I'm going to turn you over to Mason in the production room. Appreciate it. Okay, we did get an answer to that tech tip quiz already.
That was quick.
That was.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my customers last week, and he got to tour the Hyundai facility, the new plant that they built, and he said it was just incredible.
Oh, yeah. I would love
one in
Did he
Savannah?
get to see
Yeah.
one of the humanoids?
Yeah, he did.
What was that one's name? The one in Hyundai plant?
They named
it's-
the
I
robot?
think it was Aaron.
No. Each one of them's got, like Elon has Optimus.
Yeah.
And Jamie will find out in just a second.
I mean, that place is huge. If you
Uh-huh.
go down the interstate
Atlas.
and you see
Atlas.
that Hyundai plant, it is massive.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I don't know how long it would take you to walk that thing.
I don't know, but it's just because the last time I came past it, they were still building it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're driving and it feels like you're going a mile and
Yeah.
you're still passing. The
Oh, it's at
thing.
least a
and
mile.
it was just field. All you could see were cranes. It was really neat. You
Yeah.
know, just driving past it during construction.
And now it's just beautiful white building all the way down.
We were talking about how we are being tracked one more time.
Yeah, actually, 1 in 10 Americans has been tracked by a hidden GPS device. And, of course, the way that fits in with the car show is many times these trackers are on the car.
Yeah.
Some of the places they stick them is like on the frame. That's a real common place because they're magnetic.
Yeah.
And of course, you have an aluminum frame, you might have a problem. But they stick them under the car many times in different places. So if you suspect that being done, you might want to look around a little bit. Have your person that does your next service. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing that during our services, including a scan of the vehicle to see if you have any tracking devices on your vehicle when you're there.
I mean, we found tons of them working in the collision industry. I had, I'll never forget, I had this one young lady. We were checking her car and we were looking it over, and we looked inside where her OBD2 was to plug up the scan tool, and there was this thing that was hooked into the OBD2, and she didn't even know it. And I was like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And she's like, "Absolutely not." We start researching what it was, and it's a tracking device. It's like, you got a tracking device on your car.
Oh no.
Well,
That's the most common place.
That definitely led to some interesting conversations, her being
Yeah.
upset.
Oh, well, I bet so. I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that is a common place, and of course that's where the insurance companies asked you to plug it in to your
so they can
OBD port so that they can track you, so that they can increase your rates.
yeah, absolutely. Or they'll buy your data from Life 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of the trackers, a lot of those, it just has the little magnetic type deal. Most of those are just Bluetooth devices, and they can be scanned with a phone. And apps that can detect them include AirGuard or Tracker Detect. You can go there and you'll see it show up on your phone that, hey, this I'm being tracked by this, and they're able to detect devices like the Apple AirTag or the TileMate are the most common that they can. So if you suspect that you're being tracked, you might want to get one of those apps and go to it and look around. Or if you're having your car service, ask them to look around on the frame to see if you see any items. We did a story about 2 weeks ago. Someone who put an AirTag on somebody's car, and they got their driving habits and all that, and worked out a deal to where they could rob the couple. It was two people in the vehicle, and they knew when they were going to be home, knew when they were not home, and were able to rob them. Okay, so that's another piece of
Well,
information.
you had the AirTag with the guy with the BMW that got his car stole.
Yeah.
He was able to track down where his car was because of the AirTag in it, and then go to the person that stole his car.
And get his car
Oh,
back.
I remember that one when we talked
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. But isn't it sad that we live in
Yeah.
a world where you got to worry about being
Tracked by.
tracked by a random stranger?
Makes it exciting.
I don't know.
You know, I love Reddit, so I was browsing through the trucker subreddit, and they were talking about tracking devices and AirTags, and they said that they love when people find them on their cars and bring them up because they'll stick them on their trailer and just drive them all around the country and just throw off whoever. And I thought that was pretty funny. But obviously you don't want somebody showing up to your truck in the middle of the night either. So.
Well, no show would be complete unless we had our Waymo story. And so I guess now we'll go to our newest Waymo story. And this is a Waymo. It went viral after blocking an Austin, Texas County EMS ambulance as the self-driving car attempted a U-turn and proceeded to get stuck in Austin traffic. And the ambulance was responding. In other words, the ambulance was trying to get through an intersection, but the Waymo was stuck and wouldn't go. And so police had to manually move the car so the EMS could get through. And they were actually responding to a mass shooting. And, of course, they couldn't get there because the Waymo was stuck in the way.
Unreal.
It is.
I was in Arizona this past week, so fortunately enough for my business, I get to travel all across the country, and so going into Arizona, obviously on that side of the country, you see a lot more EVs, and the Waymos were everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. But that was actually where some of the stories that we've talked about in the past, where the Waymo got stuck on the track, it was there in Arizona where I was at.
Yeah.
And they were like, the person jumped out of it, got out of this thing. They were telling me about a story of when they had a ton of floods, and the Waymo drove into a puddle
flood water
with people in the car, and the water's coming up over the windows, and they can't get out because the doors are locked. And they're like beating on the windows.
The Waymo locks you into it?
Yeah.
No.
You can't get out.
No.
So, yeah. It was interesting. And then I had another guy that was telling me he got in it and it kept U-turning and U-turning and U-turning. And
just the
he
endless
found
circle.
and he was like, it wouldn't go where he needed to go. So he hit the cancel button, and then it finally figured out where it was supposed to go. So I don't know if it was charging him per minute, like to stay in that thing. So like they were running the rate up on him. But so there was definitely a mix of emotions of talking to people in Arizona about those things. There were people that were pro Waymo, and they were people that were anti-Waymo.
Did you use one while you were in Arizona?
Absolutely not.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
come
this
on.
is for research purposes.
Yeah.
They tried to talk me into it from the hotel to the airport. They're like,
Yeah.
get you a Waymo. And then they said, well, let me tell you, it doesn't really work great in highly congested areas. So the airport's probably not the best place to go. I was like, no, I'll just stick with having somebody drive me there. I'll be good. So Lyft, give you a shout out. Your Lyft drivers in Arizona were phenomenal. They did a great job. So I will stick with Lyft.
Ron, welcome back to the show. You were getting ready to tell us something about Washington, and what was
Come
it?
on, Ron.
Well, guys, it's not. It's a little bit closer than Washington. You know, our General Assembly comes in this time of the year. Yesterday was crossover day, and of course, we all know that the bills that don't get over don't make it to the end. But Max Reese, one of the congressmen, did get passed several bills concerning automobile insurance and homeowners insurance. But primarily, I'm calling about the automobile insurance, where they re-regulated a lot of things concerning the profits that these insurance companies can make, how they have to refund certain premiums that fit certain criteria. And it sounds like it's all going to be consumer beneficial for us. And they did all the bills did pass before crossover day, and they're just waiting Brian Kemp's signature. But at least that we have somebody up there fighting for us. You know, I wanted to make a comment about, you know, your AI and your robotics. I know that's the big thing. And what was it? John F. Kennedy says, change is the law of life. If you live in the present or the past, you won't see the future. And it's something to be respected. But when I lived in New Orleans, if you wanted to go anywhere, you got a cab. And those cabbies, they made good money. A couple of them were good friends of mine. And they had to undergo tests. They had to, show their proficiency in driving. They had to draw a map of the city and write every street name down.
Wow.
And now any crackhead can get in a car and be an Uber driver. It's now we got, and now with the other robotics that's going on, to me, it's definitely going to take. I guess what I'm getting at is that in the future, the jobs are going to be extremely limited for the average Joe like me that just wants to go out and work somewhere.
Well,
all those jobs are vanishing.
There will be different jobs because, for instance, we talked about the humanoids that'll be doing a lot of things in the Hyundai plant and in BMW plants and a lot of other car manufacturers and just plants in general. A lot of these humanoids will be lifting things that a lot of the humans are not able to lift and doing things that the humans either don't want to do or can't do. And it will be something that will help on that side. Now, you are right. They will be taking jobs away from everyday Americans. For instance, there, no doubt there's places now you can go in and order a burger and a shake, and it comes out on a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah.
And it's being built. So there will be some jobs lost. But the goal would be, I think, to more have higher technical jobs for more people.
Well, I think the goal, I mean, you're being nice about it, but to me, the goal is higher profits for these big companies. You know, during the longshoreman strike, before they could settle any of that, it was chisel and stone. They could not bring AI and robotics out to the docks because you're just eliminating, the human aspect of trade, and it becomes just so push button style. It's that's just what I wanted to get across. Just that they said that when this last technology waves came by years ago. There won't be no more ditch diggers. You'll have to learn to use the machine. Brother, there's nothing out there now. I mean, you can stay with the trades like in your mechanics field and also with construction, a lot of things in construction. But just for the average Joe that, has got a limited amount of brain cells like myself, that can't get a professional job, that relies on a good everyday job to bring home income, they're just not going to be there, and hopefully, we'll get it all straightened out.
I think
who
every
knows what
bit
the
of the
future's going to bring.
equipment that does all this stuff will need somebody to either run it or repair it, one of the two, whatever you get. And it is a complicated problem. And what's good is we will stay on top of it on the C&C Auto Show and plus get opinions from people like you to be able to call in and kind of give your opinion. So we will keep everybody informed.
Check on that website with Kim Commando, privacykim.com, and I believe the app that she's promoting now is Incognia.
Great.
And she said it goes into detail about all, the location devices and whatever's in your vehicle that they can, tap onto to find you. Look, guys, I really enjoy your show. Y'all have a great one, and be safe out there on the road.
Ron, thank you, and we will. And that was a great tip to go to the Kim Commando Show site. And
so I have been following these bills. There's a association here in Georgia that's the Georgia Collision Industry Association, and they, again, we're focused all on what happens in collision, but they put, they working with some of the lobbyists to try and get this information up there and get these bills passed because, for consumers in Georgia, this is a very important topic about, affordability, about fixing cars right, and a lot of things those guys don't know anything about, but these associations bring it to the forefront to try and help it, help the consumers out. So I've been watching it. I'm excited for some of the stuff that's coming through. I think it's, anytime you can do something, especially the affordability piece of it. I mean, you're seeing it right now. I mean, if you look across the country, you're seeing insurance carriers now starting to reduce rates because I think it's becoming such a talk across the country about the profitability of these companies and how much money they're making, and consumers are just sick of it.
Yeah.
We're sick of paying all these premiums. We're sick of watching all these, billion-dollar profits, but what are we getting? What are they getting back for it? What
Nothing.
Are we getting, right?
Like a hard time. That's why we need you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a struggle. And for everyday families that, again, like for my family, I mean, we were looking at health insurance just for us and just from the private sector, we were going to spend close to $32,000 a year.
That's insane. That's
for
what some
health
people
insurance
live off of.
And that's having like huge maximum deductibles. So I'm probably, and again, I got 3 kids. I got my wife, but we don't really go to the doctor that much. So it was like, do we just try and plan to pay for it out of pocket and try and risk it? Or do we pay $30,000+ a year for this? And $30,000 is just
a lot of money.
Stupid, right? And, even for companies like you here, Aaron, you provide health insurance for your employees, but it's high.
It is.
It ain't cheap to do that.
It's very expensive.
And then you're trying to cover a portion of that so that it is affordable for your employees, right? So I am glad to see some legislation that's coming down that is starting to get the attention of the insurance companies, that they're starting to back these prices down because it's needed. I mean, more than ever. So, Ron, thank you for bringing that up. I love watching that stuff as well and love seeing where we can try and make some moves for the people.
And that is what's good, is us to be able to talk about that and keep everybody informed. Another item that come up, EV charging cable theft.
Of course.
Continues to rise. Says thieves are cutting cables for the copper and knocking the chargers offline, and it costs the operators of these things a lot of money. And this is happening in Germany and the U.S., and that's a little unusual. You don't hear things like that happening as much in the European countries, but evidently it's a big deal in Germany now. Now, before it used to be a big deal on the catalytic converters.
Yeah.
I don't hear as many of the catalytic converter issues anymore. Do you?
They just keep it quiet.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm sure it's still happening like crazy, but they did try to restrict or make it harder for you to sell a
To go and sell it.
truckload
They
of
had
cats.
to,
But
the salvage yards had to document where
Yeah.
their converters come from
Yeah.
before they could take them in. And if an inspector comes in and says, you got 1,000 converters, where did they come from? They had to pull the paper out and show where those converters
I mean,
came from.
there's loopholes with that, like there are with everything else. But as far as those chargers go, if you walk up with a pair of bolt cutters, maybe there needs to be a little bit of residual current in that cable.
So let it bite them whenever they cut it.
If it bites them, I bet they won't do it again.
A family of a Utah teen was killed by a counterfeit airbag, and they filed a wrongful death lawsuit against a national used car dealership that had the salvage vehicle repaired. So someone took a vehicle that had been deemed totaled, come in, repaired it.
Did they get like an eBay airbag? Is that what happened?
I'm
Just some
assuming
kind
that
of
that's what
Chinese
happened.
knockoff or something?
Yep, they said it was a
There's a lot of 'em out
counterfeit
there.
airbag. A lot of them out there. And this is not only a problem in the collision repair industry, but it's also a problem in the mechanical repair side, because many times people will see a price of a part and they'll say, oh, they want to charge this, and I can go, they want to charge, let's say, $200, and I can go online and I found one for $30 that I can use, and it's the same brand. Well, you get it, and one little bitty marking on there might be a little different. It'll look just like a name brand, but won't be. Now, that's saying that there's no doubt you can buy a lot of things cheaper on the internet, because, of course, they got a trainload of them at a time, and they're able to sell things at a lower price. But I guess the reason I'm mentioning this, if you see something that's obscenely lower,
Yeah.
then something's wrong. I mean, if you got a part that's normally almost all the other name brands are $200 and you're able to get one for $30, something's going to be wrong, and I would be very careful. And the way the cars are designed now, with so much electronics and so many things working together, you can do a lot of damage by putting a part on that's not designed correctly.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like you said, the amperage or wattage or anything is different internally that you can't visibly see, it'll fry it all
Or
out.
it can be dangerous.
Well, I think, back to, we talk about a lot of times about pre-purchase inspections. If you're going to buy a used car, make sure you have it inspected.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. Everybody believes in the Carfax. I do a lot of DV claims, and, I look up the Carfax. I mean, I had a guy with a Jeep a couple of weeks ago, and I was working his DV on his car, and look up the Carfax history from the accident, and it shows minor in the repair. He got hit in the rear, and it required the entire frame to be replaced on the car.
That's a minor accident.
I think like the three of us, and probably the people that are listening on the radio, know that is BS, right?
Yeah.
Like, taking an entire frame off a vehicle
That's not
and
a minor.
replacing is not a minor collision, right? So,
and David, most everybody knows, but just mention it just in case somebody's not sure what it is, what DV is.
So diminished value. In each state's a little bit different in how diminished value is handled. In Georgia, if diminished value is paid out to the insured and to the claimant. So if you wreck your car in Georgia, you're owed diminished value. In South Carolina, that's right across the road from us, if you're hit by somebody, you're owed diminished value, because once you've been in an accident, if your car had no accident history, now it's been labeled with an accident history. So
Yeah.
you are going to lose value. And I try and tell people all the time, like, if you go to trade in two cars and one has a clean history and has no accident, right? And you take one beside it that has been in an accident and has a history on it, the dealer's going to pay you more for the one without the accident.
Well, yeah.
So it's just common sense,
Yeah,
right? But that's how diminished value works. So I think pre-purchase inspections are huge. I get calls once a week from people looking for somebody to do a total loss inspection on a vehicle after the car has been repaired. It's already been deemed totaled, and now they're fixing it to get it approved. So that car will still have what they call a branded title. So it will always have that. So if you get a car that you're going to buy and it's got a branded title, just make sure you recognize that it at one time was a total loss vehicle.
Yeah.
So probably super important to go get that
Some risk
inspected.
factors there.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if it had water-related damage.
Water-related, structural damage. Like, man, there's just so many things. I'm not an advocate for fixing total losses. I think after it's been totaled, like, you just need to let it be totaled and go figure out another car.
Yeah.
Just things for consumers to know. Again, we talk about pre-purchase inspections, and here's a situation again. Now, would you have done an inspection and been able to call that airbag had been replaced with a knockoff airbag? Probably not.
No.
But, had I been looking at it and known that it had a branded title, I'd have probably been trying to give the customer some advice that, hey, maybe
Stay
go
away.
try and find
Yeah.
something else. Like, this is not a good car for you. So,
Exactly. Just be careful. Do your research.
yeah, know what
and
you're buying.
Consider pre-purchase inspections. Okay, next item. A new Cox study, automotive article shows a crisis in dealer service retention. Despite a rise in overall number of service visits, U.S. dealerships are losing customers to independent competitors at a steady rate. Now, this is mostly because the cars are getting older. People are keeping their cars much longer. They're finding out they will last longer if they take care of them from the ground up. They will last much longer, so that's making it to where people's keeping them longer. And, of course, traditionally, people do not take their cars to the dealer after a certain number of years, mainly because the dealers, many times the dealers really want people to have new cars, and so they kind of steer them in that direction. The independents many times, now this is not always, but many times the independents kind of want them to keep their cars they have, and so they have a direct incentive on trying to make their car do well and trying to keep them happy with their cars.
Well, from my point of view, from working in a dealership, and I've done the aftermarket side and the dealership side. The dealership is not always your enemy. And
Exactly.
the dealership is not always the most expensive option. But so just it's like you say with the independent repair facilities, develop a relationship and then move forward as long as you feel comfortable.
There's good and bad on both. There's some fantastic dealerships and there's some very bad dealerships. There's some fantastic independents and some bad independents and all in between in there. So do your research. And, of course, your number one research is talk to people.
Exactly.
Just get, where do you go? Are you happy where you go? Did they communicate with you? And then, of course, you start, your next step is to go visit the place, make sure it looks clean, make sure you can talk to people and kind of relate to them. And then have a little something small done, like an oil change or something like that. Find out if they call you back and let you know when it's done and see if everything goes good that way. And if everything goes good, that might be the shop for you and continue to go there. If it don't, continue to look because you don't have to settle for nothing. With the way the systems are designed now, if you're having work done, you should be able to get a quote and them say, this is what it costs to repair it. This is the parts. This is the labor. This is the warranty. And they should have a lot of, for instance, last night, a customer, they were really surprised because they were picking their car up late. And they said, what time do you close? We told them, I'm a little ways out. I said, well, not a problem. We'll pull the car out front. We'll put your keys in the locker. He said, well, I got to pay for it. I said, not a problem. I'll send you the ticket right away, and you can just pay it online. That way you can take your time. And so I sent him the ticket. He said, yeah, I just got it while we were still on the phone. And I said, the key, your locker number will be 436 or whatever it was. His keys was there, car up front. You should have all of these things. It's there now for people who want to use it. And there's some great shops out there that do all that.
So I feel like I'm a huge independent guy. I won't say that I'm a corporate or a dealership guy. I feel like independents are more personal versus dealerships and the big, large private equity owned groups that are transactional. And I think people in the car business want to deal with people. Right. And so I think there's more of a relationship building there in independence, and they try to get to know those people, and there's more intentionality in fixing the car.
You want to spend money with people you like.
Yep.
Okay, that wraps up this week's C&C Auto Show, and thanks to co-host Jamie Bridges and David Clark.
Yes,
we also want to say thank you to our show producers in there, Mason Rogers, Anna Lopez, and Trip Clark. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, dialed in, or clicked in. Please don't go anywhere. Because we'll be back next week with another C&C Auto Show.